and Guernsey Prison, so this is the main part of the outreach. So we've got 90% of the prison going to be watching us today, and see if we can raise their faith and get through to them a little bit about the gospel.
I had a 12-inch diver's knife strapped to my arm. I had a 38 Beretta in this pocket. I was now living a violent life fueled by drugs. My drug addiction led me into bouts of depression. I tried to cut my own throat, crashed a car, overdosed, drowned myself. Everything that meant anything to me, I lost in 4 years of madness. Yet I thought I was in control of my life, and yet my life was out of control. 15 years ago, I asked God to come in my life. 15 years ago, I chose to follow His Son, Jesus Christ. 15 years ago, my wife and I, that had been apart for 4 years, got remarried in 1993. Now, whether you choose to believe is entirely up to you. But what you cannot do is argue the truth of my life.
Addictions come in all sorts of disguises, and that makes it really difficult for guys to talk about them in an honest way.
I can vividly remember in some of the worst times of my addiction, literally crawling behind the settee in my front room and just crying, and the fear and paranoia was phenomenal. I was running a business, a family, I was on the board of governors of a school, and yet I'm now hooked on cocaine, and yet my addiction was taking over my life. It's a very frightening, dark place to be in.
When you're taking steroids, even from the start, it starts doing stuff to your mind. Obviously you start to increase in size when you're training, but it does things to you inside as well, because you're starting to think, yes, I'm a bit bigger for my boots, if you know what I mean. And I think that's where your roid rage comes in. And then what I found, personally, that your circle of friends start to change.
Right.
Because obviously the guy that I originally was taking steroids with and training with was a big guy.
Right.
And he was on the door. Yeah. So you find that the violence, which I found, it just creeps in on its own. So it's not just about taking steroids.
Right.
Steroids doesn't end there. This is where the change happens, when the violence starts creeping in.
What I've seen with steroids, the addiction is coming through the physical change as well. If I can get big, if I can change my physique, I've got power, I've got prestige.
And I can remember myself, that feeling of like, if you're coming off, you're going to start shrinking. And yet it's impossible because the gear's still floating around you instantly. And that's how the addiction works sometimes in your head, isn't it?
My own experience, having become a Christian, having spent years of my life on gear and cocaine, it just strikes me what it was doing was essentially filling that hole, filling that gap, trying to find something that would plug the hole.
You never can.
You can never do it.
So what do? You have more. You want more.
You can never do it, yeah.
When it doesn't satisfy you, the more you want, because you're trying to satisfy you. The hole that you've created through losing your family and your business, you try and fill it with more. And eventually, no matter what it is, that addiction will control your life. Deceit, everything else comes in with it, and obviously for many people it will destroy your life, and nearly destroyed mine.
Using the gear and a little bit of cocaine as a Christian man, what happened?
As I've said, I try to fill that hole that Billy was talking about with everything, and money was a predominant thing. But when I found the love of Jesus, that filled that hole, You still struggle. Every day you can struggle, but you've got that friend in Jesus, that love of Jesus to help you through it. You don't do it alone, that's what I'm trying to say.
But the struggle goes on for a long time, and you think, what's going on? The pressure is always there.
We justify our behaviour in life and things we do and measure ourselves by other people. So if we can surround ourselves with people that we can say, he's taking more gear than me.
Yeah. It's as if you're trying to justify saying it's okay to take it. I think you've got to just stop associating yourself with that person.
Which seems harsh, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is harsh. I think it is harsh, and I think you need time away, whether it's 4 months or 4 years to then be able to go back and approach that person.
Yeah, yeah.
It may be 4 days.
Yeah.
You don't know, but I think you need time away, definitely.
Depending on probably the depth of the drug or what it is,
Yeah.
or the addiction you're talking
Yeah.
about.
You know your limitations, you've got to be honest about this. And I think it is from the outset recognising there are certain places that you can go, certain places you can't go, certain people you can be around, certain people you can't be around. But even now, 8 years down the line, I recognise I'm not stupid, you know. Like, don't send me on a mission trip to Colombia on my own. You know what I mean? You know, it's just that's it. You know,
So you've got to eliminate situations.
or have accountability around you. What I'm saying, I could go to do something in Colombia, or you know, go to nightclubs if I have my brothers with me. But if I was there on my own, with kind of my old kind of past life, it's a very dangerous place for me to be.
Well, one of the things we've spoken about much on this weekend when we've been away as the team is fellowship. It's talking to guys, genuine people you can go and speak to and trust. And for me, I went for prayer with my own family.
Yeah.
Just ask people to come alongside and pray and be with you on it.
So even a church leader or a worship leader or someone that needs to be accountable and honest.
100%,
Even
yeah.
if it's with his missus, if he can. do you know what I mean?
100%.
How do we get people to actually experience that? Because men are notoriously not very good at getting together and chatting.
For us, it's tough talk. We meet on a Tuesday, and often, you're able to tell your mate, look, I'm having a bit of a trouble. Or if we're driving to a meet, but not everyone has that.
I think the church generally needs to start focusing more on that, because men are not going to come forward with their issues.
It is a bit out breaking that pride down and saying, I need some help here. And just amazing, just talking does help, doesn't it?
In prisons, chaplaincies are good contact.
Chaplaincy's got to
or
be.
the chaplain knowing other guys who are good guys, who have got a track record, who can come in and get alongside them.
I believe if you are truly seeking God in your life, then He will bring someone in, even if you can't manage that yourself. And that's what happened to me on that morning. He brought a friend of my daughter alongside my daughter and prayed against it, and actually broke that addiction.